Good evening and welcome to the Always Smiling Faces podcast, and we're back with another questions and answers.
You said a good evening again.
That's because it is evening. It's Monday evening when we're recording this.
Yeah, true.
You know, it does. You know, it could be evening somewhere where somebody's listening.
Number 48.
Could be.
So,
Could be.
No, we've just broken into the 30s.
I only get this into mine just because you
I worked it out because I was right there.
You worked it out.
I said I was right because I went on and counted them and I was right.
This is why I say it, because you'll go back now and go right.
Honestly,
1,
man.
2, 3.
Nobody
So
cares
it
what question answer.
Must be about 31.
Nobody cares.
But yes, sponsored by Guillermo Clothing and GEORDIE Gifts as ever.
Class.
So check out the details down in the comments. But Deka is going to be reading out our questions this week.
This is a first. We're breaking
We're
Deka's
making
question
work for it.
virginity. How many years is it now, mate? And you haven't read a single question?
15 years, I think.
Aye.
2 or 3, I don't know. How long have I been here for? How long have I been here for now? 3?
3, I think.
Probably 3
mate.
years.
3 years now.
This one, is it?
Third? No, it'll be fourth season.
My first championship season, eh?
Fourth season.
Well, you only had one championship season.
So I must have been in a Dallas-style coma for his second one.
So just tell us when to
Wish.
shut up, because I'll not skip ones like you do. I'm nice, you know what I mean? So you'll probably tell us off for being too
All right,
long.
okay.
Good morning. It's now 4 o'clock in the morning on the Always Smiling Faces question and answers.
The first one's from Liam, NUFC 1998. He says, will this be like the McLaren era? Pick up points against the top 6, but get relegated because we didn't beat many teams we should be picking up points against.
I certainly hope not, Liam. It has got. We've mentioned it before. It's got similarities, obviously, with us spending a lot of money in the summer. We did say similar.
Let's be honest, we didn't spend
unlucky
that much money, considering
this season or the last time.
This season. The
Mm.
McLaren season was spent a lot of money, like as in we didn't really get much return for the players out. We brought a lot of players in. This year,
Net
obviously,
spend wise,
yeah.
you mean?
So this year, obviously, we get 30 million straight away for the likes of
Perez.
Then you spend an extra 50 million on Joel to bring him in, and you get team maximum for 20 million. We haven't spent a massive amount of money for a Premier League football club. McLaren,
No.
McLaren was nigh on 90 million, wasn't it?
Yeah, not when you're thinking how much is spent in the game, but for us, we've spent a lot of money because it's not something we normally do, is it?
Yeah, I think if you judge her against, I'm only going on this window, but if you judge her against other clubs in the summer, to the outside of everyone else, we've actually invested quite a lot in other people. I mean, Norwich didn't even buy a player. I didn't think Sheffield United, Jesus Lord. I mean, I think we should be, we should be fine. I understand though. It's a funny one though, isn't it? Because it's so early on.
4 games in.
You're judging what you see, but the question is, we've beaten Spurs, we've drew against Arsenal, but we've lost off Norwich and couldn't beat Watford. So it's like the question's moulded to that, isn't it? That's what it's trying to say. Is you can beat teams in the top 6, but you can't beat anybody else. Do it go down?
I think when under McLaren we had the
Did we draw against Arsenal?
Oh no, sorry, apologise. Sorry,
I must be in that same coma he was in. I think
got beat 1-0, didn't we?
Sorry, yes, apologise.
But it's the same because remembering back to that season, we sat here every week and said we played really well, we were unlucky, we just couldn't get the results. So
you're right, mate.
It does have similarities, but and I probably said, and I think I did say the same at the time, is we still look like we've got wins in when we've got the players to get us out of it.
I think we've got a better backbone and a better character squad this time than we did.
I literally did an article when I was writing for the Shields Gazette as the fan piece every single week for Newcastle that season. I think was.
I remember that. What was that bloke called who?
I can't remember.
Who used to write in every week?
Hated it.
That.
First comment on the
Probably me dad.
Probably your dad. Can't remember. Was he called Bernie something?
Bernie? That was it, Bernie. It was Bernie.
Hated us.
Honestly,
every week without fail, Bernie would have a comment.
They call us like a tramp from South Shields and stuff like that. Absolute scumbag.
Bernie, that was it.
But I was writing that for the Shields Gazette, and it was the article on the back of getting beat off Sunderland.
Which time?
Was that October, November, thereabouts.
Away from home one, was it? No.
Yes, it was the one. No, would have been the home one, wasn't it?
Oh, actually, yeah, might have been.
I'll let you try it.
No, it was the away one.
It was sent off.
Yeah, so it was the one where Mbemba had Mbemba on the back of his shirt, I think, if I remember right. Yep. So on the back of that one, I said, I think the headline was Derby Day misery, but it will be Sunderland who get relegated. I was like, oh no, that's going to back to bite us on the arse one day.
Well, you were technically right. You just didn't say when.
When? You've been proven correct after all.
Well done. That's finally clear right. Yes.
Next one's from Jordan Morris, my mate. Well, I've never met him, but I mean, I think he's good on Twitter anyway. Now it's international break. I've never met him before, but
so from liking his tweets, you've now adopted him here as your best mate,
your son,
best mate in your life.
He's a best mate in my life.
Jordan Morris.
No, he speaks a lot of sense to him. Now it's international break.
Twins.
What do you think of the opening 5 games? And do you think we have enough to stay up? So similar to the last one in a way.
I think we've got enough to stay up. I honestly do.
Yes. I think categorically enough, yes.
Yeah. There's worse teams than us.
So at the end of the season, we can just snip that bit.
Snip this bit, yeah.
And then just put it on and we'll be like...
If you had to put a percentage on it, how confident are you that we'll stay up?
101%.
Really?
Well, not that high, but...
I think even though Norwich beat us, they'll struggle as the season goes on.
70% confident we'll stay up.
I'm 85%.
All right. Do you want to stick a number on it?
73.
Can't wait for this to get clipped.
No, it's going, isn't it? It really is.
We will not go down this season. We will not go down this season.
Relegate.
Yeah, I know. Next one's from Bradley Chapman. Risk chucking Carroll on for 20 minutes and hope he can do some damage, or wait till 100% in case he gets injured again, like Saint did v Spurs.
He looked like an absolute athlete on that photo he put on Instagram.
I had a little cheeky one looking at it, me.
Yeah, he did look great. He went past us actually on the Wednesday game. The match finished and we come out and Carroll went straight past me in the bin. And he was going, obviously, the players' entrance he must have been.
Yeah.
Still not as tall as I expected. But anyway, but yes, in that picture though, he looked absolutely lush. Like.
Was he standing in a hole?
You know what, sorry?
Was he standing in a hole?
No, he walked past us, he didn't look that tall. Unless he was...
Did he have his shoes on?
Was he crouched over?
I think he had his cap on.
Was he bent down to tie his lace?
No, I think he was crouching a bit because there was that many people. Were
you standing on a ladder?
He had his cap on.
You know, I'm saying,
that like takes height off your head.
No, I'm just explaining here. I'm saying he had his cap on. That's how you look like a midget.
No.
He had his cap on and he was like sort of hunched over. I think trying to think, fuck, I don't want anyone to see us.
No, right.
But so I was just like incognito.
He trying to say Andy Carroll's like Quasimodo when he's got a cap on.
That's what you
want to say. Anyway, the question was, should we hire him on or not?
No.
Basically, hire him on 20 minutes ago or wait until he's 100%.
Oh, chuck him on. Sorry.
No.
Chuck him on.
No.
If he was on that pitch instead of Mutu being on the end of that cross, that's back of the net, that like.
I think he'll be in the squad for Liverpool after the international break.
He's not going to do much running, is he, for the last 10 minutes?
No.
I'd rather just wait. Get him right.
It depends if we're winning the game or losing the game. If we're winning the game, you don't risk him. If we're a goal down, 100% risk him.
Well, if it's, I don't know, if it's 0-0 or 1-1 or something like that, where you know he could win you the game.
See, if
get your point, but
if we're 3-0
down, there's no point, is there?
You're not going to.
He's not coming on. No.
But the reason why I'd have him in the squad and stuff is I just think he'd be a good person to be around the squad, in the dressing room and stuff on the way down, etc., etc. But in terms of playing him, you just wait until he's absolutely peak.
He did look very well in his picture though. I couldn't work out what was going on with his legs though.
Yeah, well, that's where all the injuries he's had.
They were like scores on there.
It was just like all bright red, and the rest of him was like a normal pale white colour.
Yeah. Well, he might have been in someone who knows.
Anyway. Just tanning his shins.
Oh, he might have been in that. They've got an ice bath around the back. I'm sure what he was just sitting in that.
That's the wheelie bin.
Pool.
Yeah. No, go on, that's just in that story. Anyway, next one's Rafa Facts. Sure, I retweeted one the other day. Thoughts on Newcastle United having their lowest... No, I had an argument with them. Thoughts haven't... What's that?
Have you not been blocked?
No, not yet. Maybe
must be one of the only people on Twitter that hasn't.
Carry on.
What, read this out or move on?
No, carry on.
Right. Rafa Facts then. Thoughts on Newcastle United having their lowest attendance for a home match since 2012? Is it a combination of both Ashley and Bruce that has caused our home attendance to massively drop? If it's only because of Ashley, then why didn't our attendance drop on Rafa?
Because it's Rafa. That's why. The sole answer that the attendance didn't drop because Rafa was it.
So just Ashley didn't matter then, really. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, Rafa
to a majority of people, yeah, that's what it was, because that was the whole...
Well, Rafa peeped over the cracks. Yeah, let's be honest with you.
That was the whole thing, wasn't it? Is Rafa goes that way goes, Rafa went, so they went.
The model didn't change because Rafa was there. It was still the same model as the one has always done.
It's the same Ashley we've always had. It's the same Ashley we're going to have until he's going to be here till the day he dies or finally sells the club. That will not change.
You're ready to go here, aren't you?
No, not at all. No, I was laughing at him. He said I'm stirring the pot. Like I just kind of think it's complete bollocks, to be honest with you, because I think that if you're so against Ashley, then why the fuck were you here last year? Why the fuck were you there the year before? Why the hell were you here when the championship? Why were you here when we got Kinnear?
The difference is Rafa gave people hope.
Maybe he did, but they were still there before Rafa. That's what I'm saying.
I know.
But no matter who was brought in after Rafa, it was going to drop.
Yeah. Well, if you remember, go back to that season that we were just talking about, where we got relegated under Rafa, and we didn't know whether he'd be here the following season. We sat in your back garden and we talked about whether Rafa would still be here next season, and if he went, what would be the impact. And I sat there that night and said, it makes no difference whatsoever whether he's here or not, because there'll be different managers come in after him. There's been managers before him. That doesn't change, and it's proven to be right. It's sad.
The question was obviously that it is still the lowest attendance, so it has changed some people's opinion, definitely. Because
it's just a pure mixture. It's just a pure cocktail of all those things.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's because Ashley's there, Rafa's gone, and Bruce is brought in. That's what it is. That's the reason.
But that's that. Like I said previously, though, that Bruce could go on and win some games, get we're up into mid table, and people still won't be happy with that. Because they still look back and say, we should be better than that.
Yeah.
We should be better than that if you go back 15 years in time, 20 years in time. We're not. Things have massively changed in the last 12, 13 years, whatever it is that he's been here. And it's going to be like that until he goes. Yeah. You've got to either accept it or you draw a line under it and you don't go back. But don't then, as I've sat here and said many, many times, don't harp on about it all the time, because you know what you've gotten yourself into. You've chosen to stay away, so stick with that and do what you need to do.
Bang on. Nailhead, Mark. Next one's from Francis Marshall. Could this season be a breakthrough season for Atsu?
It could be. I think it's still too early to say yes or no.
Well, write him off for another week. So
I know.
Have another performance.
Well, let's be honest. We've seen these performances before.
Not consistently, like
not for 3 games in a row. We haven't
this season. Hands up. I think he's been great since he's came back into the team, and
he has been,
long may it continue, because it's nice to see.
No,
and if we can carry on with those performances,
he's even on with Desk. Maybe it's because we've had him on with Desk this season.
Could be.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Could be, yeah.
There he is in his Guillermo t-shirt.
Guillermo clothing.
Available online at
20% discount.
.co.uk or .com, one of the two.
At the checkout.
The next one's from, I'm not going to say all the numbers, but it's from Lewis. Do you think if...
Is it a Russian one?
No, it just says
Lewis. The Russians will have shitloads of numbers after the name.
It's like Lewis 9348560.
Oh, he's Russian.
Is he Russian? Is he?
Read it out.
He wasn't Russian, that was quite slow.
Do you think if Miggy scores, he will hit the heights we all thought he would?
He needs a goal just to calm him down, doesn't he?
I think people have got too much expectation, if I'm being honest with you. I think people think he's going to go and be our top goal scorer, and I don't think it's the case.
I think that because he was a record signing, brings that expectation, which is unfair on him, because the money we paid for him is a standard Premier League player, right?
Yeah.
I think Jordan Hyde was similar. And I'd rather have him than Jordan Hyde. I just think because of the value of him, and because he was a record-breaking signing, there seems to be this extra expectation where he's a £20 million player. Get on with it.
If he can go on and deliver the likes of assists and similar to what Perez done at the end of last season, if he can go and do something like that, then I'll be happy with that. If he's going to get 10 goals a season,
he
I'll
shows,
take it, as long as he's going to deliver the likes of what he's doing right now for the rest of the team. But he needs to start scoring.
He shows more for me in his work rate and his effort than Perez ever did. Yes, Perez got the goals at the end of the season, but
you've got to remember, though,
he does much more.
If Atsu keeps on playing the way he does, and if Almiron keeps on failing to get an assist, get goals, Saint Maximin replaces Almiron. He doesn't replace Atsu.
What's to say Almiron's Maximin's going to give you any more than that, though?
Well, but you don't know, you've got to try, haven't you?
You would try.
You've got to try. You can't do because if I was saying Maximin, how would I
you can't use what if. You would have to try it.
You have to try it. Yeah.
I don't.
But then where does that leave Mutu? Because Mutu can do it.
Well, that's it. It's
nice to have these options. I'll be honest with you.
For me, he's doing lots for the team in there that is donkey work and stuff that.
But we all agree with that. We all agree that he does so much for the team, etc., etc., etc. But
he's had chances.
You have to keep saying, if he doesn't score, like, you know, another month goes by, another 6 games go by, 10 games go by, you're like, no. Like,
it's not like he's not getting the chances.
Yeah.
He's getting them, and not scoring them.
Well, I will say that has to be a positive, like, because at least he is getting in the right area to have the chances.
Let's be honest, some of the saves the goalkeepers have pulled off against some of his shots are second to none.
I'm confident he'll get
It's like any, you know, he's, like we said, he's not a striker, but strikers go through these spells where they just can't get a goal for love nor money, and then it just needs something where they scuff one in or something like that.
He before the Euros, didn't he?
Yeah, he
couldn't buy a goal.
Yeah. He missed a penalty, didn't he? He took the penalty, didn't he? He missed that. Yeah. No, anyway. Next one's from Neil JR. What do you think the game plan will be against Liverpool? Rafa's style of 11 players behind the ball and play a counter-attack, or will Bruce just go for it?
We're still not Spurs.
I don't think Spurs.
I think we'll keep it tight and try and hit them on the break.
The Spurs was absolutely perfect. Like, you kind of, you know, players management, everything.
Liverpool's going to be a huge test compared to Spurs.
Christ, we'll get hammered.
They'll cause much more problems than Spurs did, because.
So your defence, get a solid defence, and let's see what happens from then on in. But I think it'll be a similar setup.
We got beat 4-0, didn't we, last season? Is that right? Was it 4-0?
3, wasn't it? 3 away at Anfield. 3 or 4.
But it'll be a similar scoreline. They're just so good. You just have to hold your hands up.
Well, you just like, for me, Firmino is just is unbelievable, and he's not the one that gets the, you know, a lot of the plaudits, but I think he is an unbelievable player. But the 3 that they've got up front are phenomenal. Easy for me to say.
Another one from Neil JR. If both are fully fit, who are you starting against Liverpool? St. Maxim or Atsu? Well, St. probably won't play anyway, really, but I'm thinking Atsu has earned a starting place. It's a bit what I've touched on, and bring St. Maxim on as an impact sub. I don't think St. will be ready.
I don't think would hurry him back again. No. I think it's a game that you'd probably write off if you're in the like side.
Well, do you know what it is, right? I say that, right? I think I had the same attitude against Spurs. We'll just write it off and move on. And the players certainly haven't felt like that. Do you know what I mean?
I think we'll probably learn from mistakes, as in St. Maximum played that one, he went off injured.
That's true.
So I think, do we do that again, or do we stick with what we know right now?
Why change
players
the
are doing
team?
it exactly. What we didn't
win. Well, not winning. That's the performance. It feels like it doesn't, because we played, you know, decent.
It's a game that you would have left like ground thinking we've won that, but we haven't.
But what? As we said, bar Longstaff, you couldn't really fault anybody, and that's just, you know, trying to pick fault with him, because he did get better.
But he didn't cost a goal or anything.
Nah. For me, you don't change that team. Bar injuries or anything like that. The only one that would come back in is Richie if he's fit, but we know that's not going to happen.
Of course.
Yeah,
so go as you were.
Next one's from at Mystery Gimp, Liam. Good, isn't it? It's a big if, but if Steve Bruce and the team were to have a successful season, what would that do to Rafa's legacy at the club? Would it make his achievements seem less impressive?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
If I'm being brutally honest, yeah.
So when we're saying successful,
well, that's it. What do we mean by success?
We class Rafa's finishing 13th and 14th as a success. So if Bruce does the same, 13th and 14th, that's a success.
Well, he finished 10th.
Change the goalpost.
He finished 10th.
He finished
10th. Not last season.
Which I believe might be my goal difference if it wasn't for goals.
I think the same point as the rest of the ground.
But it was the same last season. We only got that little.
Now I'm going to be as honest as I can be. If we finish 13th this season, right, that is an even bigger achievement than what it is under Rafa, because you have to think of what Bruce has come into, the whole atmosphere. We've lost Rafa, for Christ's sake.
But then
for him to be able to do that,
you'll have people that'll flip that around and go, Bruce had this much money to spend. Rafa never got that. But then you can flip it around again, saying Bruce lost with 2 good top goal scorers from the season before.
Absolutely.
So we lost Rondon and Perez.
You know, you change.
I mean, don't get us wrong. We're really forecasting here. We're 30 odd games ahead of ourselves, but you cannot say if Bruce can do what Rafa's done, it's unreal. That would be, man. That would be,
and that's it. People don't expect it because it's Steve Bruce and it's Rafa. You expect Rafa to work miracles because he's an elite manager.
We've literally sat here and said surviving is a success under Rafa.
Yep.
So surely that's the same under Bruce.
That's it is.
Totally agree with
you. But we've got that expectations because we're realistic with it, but then you've got other people that, and I hate to say it again, it's the ones that don't want to be there, that are boycotting, that keep going on about Rafa, and you know the fact that we're now lumbered with Steve Bruce, is it's those people that will stay. Well, he's only finished 4th bottom. He's only finished 5th bottom.
No, he's right, spot on.
Rafa was quite happy for us to finish there every season, provided we stayed up. It's not obviously not what he wanted to happen, but he painted that picture every season as our target is survival.
Yeah, and he openly said that.
And that doesn't change, and that is what Mike Ashley's target is for us as a team, is Premier League survival. That's never changed in the time that he's been.
Do you think
here.
that's true? Do you think the target is that, or do you think that's what you would accept?
The target,
that's a target.
The target at the end of the day is you've got to stay in the Premier League.
No, I think the target is as finish as high as you possibly can in the league. That's a target. The target isn't solely surviving.
No, I think that's the.
I agree with Chris. I don't think
that's the ambition. But your bottom line is you've got to stay in the league.
Yes, so that's minimum requirement.
But that's every Premier League club's
minimum requirement.
What do you think, Man United and Arsenal and Spurs?
No, sorry. What I mean is, like, other than them, I never even class them as in the same league half the time. But anyone in the bottom 10 is a minimum target is to stay in the division. Yeah, that's what it is. So everyone's going to have that same target. I don't believe for a second every single year Ashley's thought or the managing director or anyone's is just well my target's to stay in the division. It must be let's try and push to 10th this season then. I honestly don't.
But then you revert that by thinking that if that was the overall game, then there would be a lot more things going into the club as in money spent.
I know.
Yeah,
but
and that's
contradicts itself by.
But I agree that the minimum goal is to stay in the league for money reasons and all that bullshit. I get all of that, of course I do. But I don't think that the only target we have is stay in the division. End of. Thanks very much. Close the doors.
I think
well done.
You get a target right. You've got to finish. I don't know. 17th to 14th, and then that's deemed as a successful season.
Yeah.
Next one's from my mate Mickey Jackson.
Is it actually your real friend, or is it just
my
Twitter friend again?
Listen, man, I know him for years. After the shenanigans over the summer, what are your views on our start of the season? # things can only get better, or can they?
It hasn't been a bad start of the season, let's be honest. People are going on like we're rock bottom of the league. Well, yet to score a goal, yet to have a decent performance. It hasn't been a horrendous start.
Wasn't far off that.
Well, Norwich game was shocking. That's the only game that I can look at now and thinking, Jesus Christ, that was bad.
So again, you think
we only played 4, but we played well in the other 3.
You think back to last season, we went to Cardiff away. How bad was that?
Yeah,
worse than that. So I'm telling you, it's worse than that Norwich game.
It's
we just didn't lose that one.
The problem is that as the season went on, we had a terrible start last season. You know, Rafa didn't win. What was it? First 10, 11 games.
11th game.
But then we had a nice run up to Christmas. We had a poor Christmas and New Year, as we always do. But the saving grace and the thing that he's done every single season is that latter part of the season is where we've picked up a lot of points.
But again, the question is, after all the shenanigans of the summer, with no pre-season basically, players coming in last minute,
3 weeks,
a manager coming in with 10 days to go, or whatever the fuck it was, I think the start of the season has been very good. Much better than I expected. Honestly, I didn't expect to win the game.
Well,
I didn't expect to win that.
You'd think from some people's opinion that we've had a terrible start, that we've got no points, we're on minus 500 goals, every single player in the team's injured. It's this whole
it's because people are looking around
glass half full, half empty,
and thinking we should have beaten Norwich. Fair enough, you should be putting a hell of a lot better performance than what we did, right? So people in the brain thinking that's a bang at 3 points, when it's not the case, because Norwich played fucking fantastic football.
You just look at the last of the times we've came up against Norwich. We've never
horrendous record at Carrow Road. Horrendous.
The last time we had to rely on Dwight Gale scoring a hat trick in the last 5 minutes to get win.
So then you look at the Watford game, and of course Watford started dreadful. So I honestly expect us to win that game. But then you get a blind performance. What you do against Spurs.
So Watford's not a bad team, you know.
It's not, no. So sort of like the previous season, they haven't, but they have had a really bad start.
Well, they beat 3 out of 4 times coming here. So.
Well, they have had a bad start. Let's be honest. They've had a shocking start of the season. So
I know we didn't win the game, but we're pretty much nearly done everything else.
Yeah.
But,
so you're probably looking at the start of the season. If you predict the next, if you were predict the first 4 games and put a point on it, you'd probably put 4 points on it.
Well, you look at those games.
If you didn't have to say where you were picking the wins up from, you probably would.
I see what you're saying.
The last 2 games, if you come away with 4 points, you're happy. Because you think, we've got a point against Spurs and we've beat Watford.
And you know, if I find well, right? People are going to.
That's what we came out with.
People are going to watch this, right? And we've been getting it on Twitter, God knows, since the fucking summer. People saying, "Oh, you're being positive about the club because you'll miss your media day at the club, right?" Because we've had an invite.
I'll miss that day. I've never been to.
He's never been there, but we've had an invite to play on the pitch. It's got nothing to do with the club. So if anyone thinks that's got anything to do with the club, it doesn't, right? We'll end it at that. It's got fuck all to do with the club, right?
I love me special treatment I get.
Even though the club mentioned that I was smiling faces that day.
It is, yes. Even though the club definitely listen to this podcast, because everything that we say every week happens.
There's people at the club that literally
we are social.
So they're not inviting me to
social
the
media.
football
We're
pitch.
social influencers. Check us out.
I can't understand it when he so we'll change the results on a little bit, right? You get beat off Arsenal 1-0, it happened, right? We drew against Norwich 1-1.
Yeah.
You get beat off Spurs and we beat Watford. It's the same amount of points,
That's what I'm saying.
in a different order.
Great start,
and everyone's fine.
And everybody's like, "Oh, well, that's just what we expected to happen."
It's
People
amazing,
look
isn't
at
it?
the Spurs and go, that's a fluke. That's what they'll do.
Well, just fuck them all. Right, next question. Actually, fuck all
That's
of
what
you.
I'm saying. The last two
If that's your
games,
opinion, just turn off now. Fuck off.
if you go into those last two games thinking, "I'm going to come out of that with 4 points," you'll be very happy with it.
Of course you would.
That's exactly what we've done.
But people are still pissed
But
off.
then you go on
man.
the
They
first
came in
two
a
games
different
and you go, we'll come out with 0 points. Then people go,
Carragher did a column. Didn't read it all, I'll be honest. Carragher did a column. I seen one quote in it. Well, I seen more than one quote, but the one quote I seen that I loved was what I see on social media is it seems, I might get it wrong, seems that people seem to be want the club to lose to prove their point right. Is that something like you said?
100%.
And he was absolute nailhead on that one. Like, alright, sorry, I'll just move on a bit.
I thought you weren't going to skip any.
Oh, I won't actually. Alright. So the next one's then Thompson's golf bopped or something like that. Go on now.
Thompson got bopped.
Well, Thompson's
Thompson got bopped.
Thompson, and then he's at his golf BOBT.
Got bot.
Okay.
Got bot.
Golf bopped.
Golf bumped.
Well,
whatever you called it.
You lads noticed Joe Linton is dropping too deep too often, and we are slow on the counter with no focal as a consequence.
If Joe Linton doesn't drop deep, we don't get the ball.
Yeah, that's what I said to someone today at work. Someone said a similar thing. I was like, well, I reckon so.
That's over his head.
Well,
if he's not dropped deep, that's over his head.
Well, not over his head.
But the Watford defenders go poof.
The difference that we've had in the last couple of games, though, is Atsu and Almiron are both now making it runs in either behind him or in and about in front of him to receive a ball. So they're the little bit of pace that's still getting behind.
If you look at the player that I've seen in the last two games compared to the player against Norwich, it is night and day.
Oh, 100%.
Night and day.
Yeah.
He looks like a great player.
Oh, he really
does look like a
But
great player.
as I said this at the start of the season, is that he always looks to play the ball back the way it came, which he's starting to, the last couple of games, he is starting to look to his sides and stuff like that and little flick-ons, but
He needs to be quick.
it's what you said before, he now needs to, once he's done that, he needs to get his headers right, they've got the ball and now need to get it in
that's
that
what
box.
I said, yeah. That's only my only slight criticism. I don't want to be too hard.
I've said this a number of times. We've bought some decent players in this club. The problem is that they're playing for this club. If you put Joe Linton in someone like Arsenal's team or someone like that, he'll score you a boatloads of goals.
Because he's going to get loads of chances. I understand that, yeah. The other thing I would have to say as well is he's a type of player where, let's say, I'm not sure Huddersfield, they're not even in the fucking league, but let's say Sheffield United bought him, right? And you watch that performance on Saturday, but it was on, say, Sunday, and you watch that. Everyone will go, God, he looks a good player, doesn't he? Wish we had someone like that. It's always the case. It's always the case. Half the fans are never happy when out, man. The lad on Saturday was class.
Yeah.
I didn't care what anyone says.
He's still learning his role as well, isn't he?
The player was mint. And exactly, he's young. He's just come in the league, and he's just getting the bearings of it. He scored the win against Spurs last week. Crack on, mate. You're doing well. For me, just keep doing what you're doing.
And that finish was a great finish, and that is what he's capable of. And but he needs to be in the box. We need everybody to just step forward a bit more to allow him to then get into the box and get into that final position.
Next one's quite interesting. Jack Body has said, when Lejeune returns from injury, who do you drop from the back three, or should Bruce trial Shea as a centre defensive midfielder? His passing, dribbling and scoring ability could give him all the attributes to thrive in a new position.
No, there's a reason why Shea's playing at centre back.
He'd give too many fouls away for me.
Back as what he is. But I don't like this when you used to play in a certain position and someone goes, shall we try them there?
We did it with Colaccini before.
Yes. And we did it with David Santon, and we played him on the right wing, if I remember right.
Yeah, scored against Wigan, but yeah.
He did, but Jesus, there was one game, and it looked shit.
That
Probably every game.
back three for me, the one that drops out is Dummett.
Scher's a centre-back, and he's a very gifted centre-back where, because he's so comfortable with the ball, don't let that fool you. He's not a centre-back.
I have to be honest.
What I mean.
Well, what I would definitely say is the reason
he's not a midfielder. He can't.
He is comfortable on the ball, but what you've got to remember when you're centre half, you got all the time in the world.
Exactly.
You got all the time in the world.
In midfield, you've got two players closing down all the time,
losing the ball left, right, and centre with a bit of pressure on his arse. But me only. I don't want to make this negative here. If he continues to do what he's doing, there's going to be some big boys in for him.
I said that last season.
Don't talk about him.
I said that last season.
Even though I sat here 2 weeks ago and says that he's been shite the first two games, which I do believe he was. Arsenal and Norwich, he was terrible. Running out of position and all sorts. The Spurs game in Saturday, if he could continue that like he did last year, continue these two games on, boy.
What makes me worry about Scher is
$80 million for Maguire,
bought him for so cheap, right? We're bought him for what, $3.5 million thereabouts. It was less than 4. If a club comes in offers something like 25 million, Ashley will be thinking, that's a massive profit on that. Even though he's worth a lot more than 25 million in my head.
I know you're saying that.
Well, you look what Van Dijk's gone for.
Longstaff less than 50.
Maguire's gone for.
I don't think we're that bad. I don't think we're that bad of a selling club as people bang the drum. Like, honestly, I don't. I'm not saying he wouldn't go. Christ, I'm not saying he wouldn't go, but I don't think we're as bad as that. Does that make sense? We're not a fire sale anymore. I don't think, anyway. Personally,
let's be honest.
Though, if a team comes in offering money. A big club.
If someone said 30,
it's him that worry about.
That's
him
the
that I worry
difference.
about him going.
Yes,
that's my opportunity.
Yes,
and rightly so.
I agree.
I wouldn't hate him for it.
I've said this for years. Is that you get players in, you didn't really want them to do really well because they'll go.
Yeah.
You want them to do okay.
Just be good.
I'd be good. Don't be amazing. Thanks. Anyway.
But I mean, I've said before. I think
he's a great player.
For me, that back three would be fantastic with Cher, Fernandes, and Lejeune in it.
I have to agree with you. Yeah.
Great.
But
Lascelles won't lose it because he's captain.
Yeah.
We said that for 2 seasons.
We actually forgot that. That Almiron chance you went about the one in the block. It was Lascelles' has run that. You know that run he did on the left hand side. Unreal, that wasn't it?
Yeah. What was he doing?
It was unreal. He beat one player and thought, I'm going to keep going. And all of a sudden,
it was just like he stopped. He went, hold on.
Aye.
There's
nobody in front of me to the corner flag.
He actually moved quite quick. And he's lovely outside the football too. I thought he moved quite quickly.
He moved quite
well.
Quick.
You wouldn't have caught him.
Jesus Christ.
Young Mono. Also, Connie special podcast needed.
Yeah, so Emil watched Con Air for the first time.
First time in his life.
Even though it was made in like 1992 or whatever.
Somebody go
when was
through...
Con Air made?
Before that, 80s.
Was it?
Gotta be.
80s, Con Air was
go through your life not seeing Con Air until...
I think I watched it.
So Emil watched it for the first time
2019.
the other day. But yeah, Con Air is absolutely fantastic.
It's early 90s, I would...
It has to be 90s.
97? Oh, I was
97?
95.
That's later than I thought.
97, aye.
I love all that.
Great film.
Yeah,
great
really
film.
good, yeah.
I love his hair.
Yeah. I can't remember much about it, like, to be honest. It was a good film, though. Like, it's not one that I watched.
There's an aeroplane and it's full of criminals.
Top Gun.
Convicts. That's why it's called Con Air.
Top Gun.
God, is that why?
Another one for
They were all wearing Converse trainers.
Condoms.
Condoms and Converse.
That's the porn version. Just an airplane full of condoms.
What was the question that we're answering? I can't even remember.
Con Air podcast special. Next one, though, you sent another one in. Rolando Aarons has gone to a League One club today, which is Wickham, I believe. On loan, what do you think has happened his career here? And is he an indictment?
Indictment.
Indictment.
That's the one. Of our academy, him, Armstrong, Campbell, a few to fail at the first team.
I think that's harsh on him because...
So the reason why he's not a Newcastle player and a regular is injuries.
And what you've got in front of him in Saint Maximum and Atsu.
Yeah, true. Like, and then if you think the position we did play him in pre-season, Williams has filled that, and I'd have to have him in. I would.
Yeah.
Even though I thought he played very well at the start of like in pre-season and stuff like that.
He was a player we'd
I thought the one
expected
that
to
I
see this
thought
season.
might hang around.
Yeah, he needs to push a move. So I know he's got his
It's better for him, isn't it?
He needs to push a permanent move somewhere else.
Yeah, Lazar's gone to Italy as well, I think, hasn't he? He's gone.
He's flirts with the move all the time. Has he actually gone through?
He's gone.
He's always been linked with.
So he went over the weekend, but that came out today as well.
There's some. I tell you what it is. He's one of the worst.
There's only Colback. That's still.
There's only
that
Jacob
still hasn't gone anywhere yet, has he?
Jacob Murphy. Fucking.
But today is the last day of the transfer window, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
In fact, it's probably closed now.
So in regards to the academy,
this is the longest one ever.
In regards to the academy, do you think it puts the academy in a bad light.
Nah,
I don't know. You look at the two Longstaff brothers that have came in. They're sitting there. Dummett's came through as well.
Carroll.
I mean,
Armstrong never got a chance.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with you. But I think he did get a chance because
you
he
even
wasn't
look,
good enough.
before Adam Campbell. You go back to Chopra. He had a few chances. Shola obviously came through and done things. Sammy as well.
I think
Really? You put Shola in that bracket?
What?
They coming through the academy and doing things.
But
Do you think he was a success?
He played in the Premier League for
absolutely,
15
yeah.
Shola was
years.
a success.
scored against Barcelona for Christ's sake.
Just because he scored against
No.
Barcelona, he was a success.
He played in the Premier League for 15 years for Newcastle United.
Yeah, he was definitely a successful man.
Aye,
Is
but
that not a
that's-
successful footballer?
If we had
I'm not saying he's a superstar.
any sort of ambition after mid-2000s, he would not have been at this football club for so long.
After I'll tell you something again then. So we sat around here and said if Joe Linton was like Leon Best would be alright.
It's true.
Shola
Leon
will
Best
be-
was better than Shola.
No.
100%.
No, I like Leon
100%.
Best, but Shola definitely did more than Leon Best did. Like
Is that because his career lasted longer?
he scored. I remember the Champions League. He ripped teams apart sometimes when him and Loa up front. I remember them well. I was there,
So Luado
and I didn't like Shola. I didn't like Shola that much, but you cannot not. For
He
an academy
didn't have
player.
Shola's one of them, isn't he?
Career at Newcastle. He did not have a successful career at
At
Newcastle.
the time
I thought
watching
he
him,
was-
he used to frustrate the hell out of you, didn't you? But then you look back.
You can't look
As-
at Ben Arthur and say he was shit, then go and give Shola Amiobi credit. You
that's-
cannot.
I'm not.
No, but
I'm saying he's had a successful career.
But judging,
How?
no, but judging. The question is about the academy. Judging against the players that you're judging it against, is he better than fucking Callum? Fucking whatever you've just said. Adam Campbell, is he better than him? Adam Campbell.
Callum Roberts
Is Shola
as
better
well,
than
isn't
him?
Because
Yes.
he's big games.
The problem is,
Yeah, but he has to be. He has to be classed as a success. Aaron's is not a success of the academy. Period.
Oh, of course he's not. No,
So
he's not.
Shola has to. I think Shola is, yes.
But I think that's because of the ownership and the predicament we're in after the likes of Ashley took over. He's lasted so long afterwards.
So
Bobby Robson used to pick him.
he did. Well, that's how he started his career. Chelsea at home. I remember I was there.
Also called
right.
Court. Let's not just
No, he
think because
bought-
Bobby
he-
Robson.
he bought him for 7 million.
But let's not just think because Bobby Robson played him. He was a good player.
No, but you're saying it's because of what we found ourselves in. It's not.
And he's
He
right
was there before. He was there, obviously, a lot during his there.
So if you're going, oh look at all these players we've created from the academy, you're putting Shola Amiobi in that.
Who's done better than him from
I
the
know,
academy?
that's-
Carroll,
All right.
And
Milner. Oh, he didn't go for the academy. We saw them at the same time.
Next question.
So I would say, I'll probably say Longstaff will probably
Ben
go
Arthur
on
was
and
from
have
the
a better
academy,
career.
wasn't he?
potentially.
No, he will. Definitely
Potentially.
Longstaff will go on and have a better career than what Shola
Yeah, he
Amiobi
probably
did.
Yes, he probably will.
100%.
That's fine.
Dummett,
The thing
I think
is
Dummett's had a better Newcastle career than what Shola has.
That's it, Dummett.
No, I think he's better than what Shola is already, even though Shola was a striker.
I don't know.
Because Shola sugarcoated it, because
Right,
he
so-
scored a goal against Barcelona and
so-
he scored in derbies.
What do you want me to say then? That he's been shite.
I think Shola's just bang average. I don't think you could put him and go, oh, he's a success from the academy, because I don't think he is. I think he's a bang average player that lasted too long at this football club.
Well, many people
But
probably
he's,
have
but he
done it now.
still had a successful career coming through the academy.
Yeah, he did,
And
yeah.
that's the point. Whether or not you think he was a good player or a
It cannot
bad
be
player,
a credit to that academy. That proves that academy is not good enough. That he's the player that's coming through, and we're thinking, oh, Jesus Christ.
Right, well, I agree
I
because
never-
I think you
I
look
never
at
thought
you look at any academy, probably bar Southampton, and there's not an academy that you can look at in the Premier League that you think that is a fantastic
Tim
academy,
Krul.
because there's no teams that bring them through and put them in. You
think
get
sometimes-
one star out of an academy.
So
in
now it's a
every
lot
blue
more
moon.
common now because we buy the foreign players in. It doesn't have to be because of the local that come through the academy.
but
We'll buy a
the
lot
issue
more in.
you've got, right, is sometimes people never give them a chance because you haven't bought them. So as soon as it always seems to be, it's money. So as soon as someone comes in from the academy, they're almost not. I must say written off, but people would rather you go and spend £10 million on possibly the same player.
Yeah, no.
I've just thought
I
another
agree.
player.
That's
Another
excellent.
player that was a
look at the
success
result.
from the academy.
Everyone was writing. Whoever was left back at the time, I remember even Dummett.
Was Dummett.
You see them on Twitter, 442 now. Lazarby there, Lazarby there.
Yeah. No,
He's
I agree with
utter shit. But they wanted him ahead of Dummett because we've bought him.
Yeah.
It's bollocks, man.
So who
Bollocks.
was the other player?
Kevin Mabu.
Yeah, Babu. Yeah.
What you say, he was a success
So I think he'll go on
He
and have a
is- he
successful
is-
career.
he
He's
is
having a
since
really
he
good
left,
career
yeah.
right now.
since he left for you.
Yeah. But I think that is the way football is in the top divisions, is that it doesn't matter how successful your academy is they'll not break through into the first team unless you are a very, very big real talent. And you think back in, you look at
Chelsea's nurtured some good ones, you know, and they've got a chance to. And they're not playing well, but that doesn't matter.
Because the likes of those teams have got the luxury to do that.
The reason why Chelsea have got a forced hand now because they can't buy anyone, so they've had to rely on them players. And there is some great players there. There's no doubt about it. But for us, it is. As I agree with Mark. Like it's very difficult, isn't it, for someone to come at this top level as well? You know, top level of football to just come in from your academy and be Longstaff. I mean, and Matty is good, but Sean Longstaff is breaking the mould a little bit in the sense of being able to come in and play every week. And it's tough. It's a tough ask. Very, very tough ask. I think.
You've got you can look at Everton. Everton obviously brought Wayne Rooney through, who went on to have a fantastic career. They then brought through what's it called, Stones. Yeah. Obviously through there, but
West Ham had at that time, West Ham back in late 90s, they had
a lot of things with
Southampton have done but a lot of years.
Again, they've brought players in as youngsters and then brought them through.
Yes, I think our academy, it's let's be honest, nothing about players that have gone and had a successful career at Newcastle United. Let's think about players that have gone and had a successful career. Full stop. There's not many in the last 15 years. Has Carroll had a successful career, or is it because he's had big moves?
No, he's had a terrible career.
Injury-wise, isn't it?
You have to think of what's done him. Yeah, it's just injuries, and that's not anyone's fault. It's not our fault. It's not our academy's fault. He's got a shit knee or back or whatever. But him coming through and doing what he was doing at that time, there was nobody more. In my opinion, I absolutely loved it.
You can say that about the likes of Tim Krul as well. He came through the academy. He's had a successful career in international football as well. He's gone and done well when he's had his chances over there. He's had a successful career at Newcastle, you could really say, Krul. Yeah, he's gone and had that great game as a player.
He's still had a good career. He's obviously playing very well.
It's successful. How long do you last at the top level?
But some players last too long.
Maybe, but obviously not, because people, the top level managers or top level teams are still willing to play them or pick them.
Tim Krul's still playing Premier League football.
He still is now. You have to, you have to say it's a success. If he's playing Premier League football for however long.
I'm not saying Krul, I think Krul is a success of the academy.
Yeah, I think so. Well,
obviously, what was he? The keeper that was sold as well, who went England keeper?
Forster.
Was he went to Southampton again? He was having a very good time, and then he picked up a bad injury. He got a bad injury, didn't he? And then went off. But I think what we've particularly suffered from here is that probably over the last 10-15 years, our academy hasn't attracted the top talent in this area. So if I think of kids kind of between the age of 10 and 20, they over that time period, they've gone to play for Middlesbrough in this local area, or they've gone in particularly the last few years, they've gone to Sunderland to play for the academy there.
So you look at Henderson and Pickford, the two. Yeah,
it's people from this local area, because those academies have had a better reputation, whereas I think it's changed more recently, and Newcastle are now starting to attract more of the local players, whether they're from Gateshead or Newcastle or wider afield.
I'm not going to mention the names, but I know three players, young kids, because I know their dads and that. None of them are Newcastle fans. They're actually both Sunderland fans, and I know one lad's only 8 or 9, but he's a good player. The other lad's, I think, 13, 14. He's really good, like fucking class. Both Sunderland fans, and they're both chosen Newcastle.
Yeah,
he's been at Middlesbrough recently, but Newcastle want him, and they've been on like weeks training courses. The dad's met the staff and stuff, and every one of them's picked Newcastle. Yeah. It breaks his heart. The fella is, I didn't want him to, but I've been to Sunderland, and Newcastle is heading.
And that's the change.
So I know a young lad. He must be about 10, 11. Plays goalkeeper for Newcastle Academy.
Yeah,
massive Sunderland fan. Dad, Sunderland, home away every single game. And his kid's literally going to go away in Newcastle Strip every week.
And it's the same.
I love it for him. Like this picture on St James.
But I think the point, as I'm agreeing with Mark, is that like maybe it has changed that, because it has shifted that. 100%. Maybe we've put more money in or whatever we've done. I don't know what, but the coaching staff or something is drawing people to choose.
Do you think it should be a lot better than what it is now? Because you look at some of the top players, even just thinking of the Premier League, a lot of them came from this area.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think it should be a lot better than what it is? Do you think there is? You've got the likes of Gaza, Shearer, Carrick.
Yeah, you're going back. You're going back 30, 40 years though.
Carrick's not 40 years. Shearer's not 40 years ago.
I think Henderson's an amazing. I think Henderson's
Henderson. Yeah, we should be keen. Like
Pickford's good.
You can only look at Pickford and Henderson in recent times that have came out of this area.
I can't think of
That's
anyone.
quite recent, though. Let's be honest with you. They're in the prime of the career right now.
But that's 2 players from a huge area.
Well, Carroll could have or should have been that.
I agree.
Still played for England. He was.
Well, that's what I mean. Do you know,
wasn't for injury.
I think the
there's
changes.
a problem as to why they're not getting.
I think the changes that have happened now in the youth setup in the academy at Newcastle should pay dividends for us in the coming years. And I think that's part of the thing that. Okay, I'm going to do it now, but I think that's what Rafa was helping to do as well,
100%.
and he was focusing on that of making the facilities better and all of that kind of thing. And I think,
get all of that. I do, yeah, of course.
And I think that will come to fruition, whether or not there'll be players that can still break that level and go on to be, a Premier League level and break through into the teams is yet to be seen.
I'm not saying it's a canny, but the lad we got from Chelsea, basically being shown Longstaff's replacement in a way for that level. I mean, he comes with a high reputation. Can we nurture that reputation, and he's a potential, and maybe see him in a few years?
Well, and it comes with massive reputation as well.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to think of the
Sorensen
lad
he's supposed to be a really good player as well, but obviously he's trying to push on.
And if you think 2 years ago, we let the who's I can't think of his name now. He's a very big talent, and we'll let him go to Everton.
Gibson, yeah.
And look what's happening.
Yeah, he's just
so.
There is one more, but we've been on for you, just so I think we should just.
Well, just do.
Is it a quick one?
Well, maybe. What's a good points return from the next 6 games? Would 4 points be decent? I'd imagine we'd be bottom 3 with 8 points in November.
Right, so the next 6 games,
obviously
you've got to
have a look.
You get it, yeah?
So we've got Liverpool on the 14th. Liverpool away.
That's 0 points. None.
Brighton at home.
3. I think 3.
Yeah.
Leicester away.
1.
Man United at home.
We'll beat
1. I'm going to be evil on this one, so I'm in 5 points
And then
already.
we've got international break, and then we've got Chelsea away
Lose that.
and Wolves at home.
Draw.
And
6.
that takes us to the end of October.
I think we'll get 6 points by the end of October. And there's some tough games in there.
That is a tricky run.
We're being generous with Man United.
Even after that, you've then got West Ham away, Bournemouth at home.
There is no easy game in the
Villa away.
There's not.
There's not. There's
I'm
not.
looking at that game last time going, draw.
Jesus Christ.
Really? Let's be honest with
Well,
you.
November's a nightmare as well.
There's no month that isn't a nightmare.
I agree.
Let's be honest with you.
Every game's
There's not.
tough. You can never go into any game.
December will be even fucking worse because we've always got nightmare teams in December.
Southampton at home, Burnley away, Palace at home,
Look at Christmas.
Everton at home. This is December.
So, right, the week before Christmas onwards.
So December we've got Southampton at home, Burnley away, Crystal Palace at home. Then we've got Man United away Boxing Day, Everton at home on the 28th, and then Leicester at home on New Year's Day.
That's not too bad. We're normally a lot worse than that, to be honest with you.
That's all right. That I take that.
You look at October, November, December. I hadn't actually realised until I looked at that. That's
But you've got to play them at some point.
Well, of course,
it has to be done.
I still think. I mean, your Leicesters of the world. I know we got beat off from the cup there, but I wouldn't be afraid of going there. Like, I mean, Christ, man, we just beat Tottenham away for Christ's sake.
And let's be honest.
Well, again, Leicester at home were unlucky.
We're done well against
and that was a strong team they put out.
Yeah. Right, I'm done. Are you done?
I am. Yes, time for a piss.
I'm still trying to think why I thought James Milner played for the academy at some point.
That's because we're signed.
We've got to go really young.
We signed him from Leeds, didn't we?
Yeah,
how old is he?
No, God, no, he wasn't that. Was he?
I think he was. You know,
he was quite young. I think that's right.
He'd had a couple of seasons at Leeds, hadn't he? And then
he had massive lugs, didn't he?
It's when we signed him in.
Amazing what he's
Woodgate,
on his
didn't we?
career.
Great.
To think from us to go.
He's one of the.
Him, Andy Cole are the ones that have left Newcastle.
You would say when Alan's won the Champions League,
Why not?
as well.
As bad of a player he is, he was in the Champions League final.
He's still
terrible. There's not many that have gone on.
What I mean by Milner is like the length of that. Like he went to Villa after he's been all over the place, but
great player
to stay at this level.
He's still
God knows how many
he's still playing for Liverpool,
and that's what I mean.
At 43-year-old,
I know it's unreal, unbelievable.
Right, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Keep on putting those subscribers up. We could do with a few more.
Yep. Get on all the socials. Got you on Instagram, Facebook.
We don't really use Instagram very often, but you can follow on there.
We need to make a Snapchat.
I was going to say Snapchat, yeah.
We'll do.
All right, okay. We're going to Snapchat.
Deka will have to do that one. Deka's the one that's always on Snapchat.
Yeah, true.
I get about 17 Snapchats a day.
Yes.
From you, like.
I'll just do a St. Maxim one and just like top and bend that.
The only Snapchats I really get are off Deka. Let's be honest.
You can guarantee every day you're getting a Snapchat off you.
Yeah, probably right. Yeah. I love it. I think it's quite good, mate. It's all right.
Deka's only just caught up with Snapchat now.
No, I've been on it for ages.
See you later. Bye.